I'm getting mine, ain't no rush. This perfection coming up. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In the end, it's gonna be us. Don't need a spotlight on this grind. I run it up, been the cut. Gotta eat, skip the sleep till the work done. I be up. I'm getting mine, ain't no rush. This perfection coming up. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. In the end, it's gonna be us. Don't need a spotlight on this grind. I run it up, been the cut. Gotta eat, skip the sleep till the work done.
Professional. Showtime if you nasty. Welcome back to the Crosscast. How the world been doing without me, man? I hope everybody been good. I've been good myself. I know I said I was going to take a couple weeks off. Well, I meant a couple months. So technically I didn't lie. You know, a couple weeks, all right, I lied a little bit. I exaggerate. It was a couple months. But in that time though, I've been actually doing a little searching, a little moral inventory, a little personal inventory, should I say, about what I got going on. And one thing I realized with the show is, okay, so I'll give y'all a little backstory. The other day on one of my social media pages, I put a post up like, I'm looking for co-hosts for, the web show, the podcast. And what that was for me, that was pretty much my first time admitting out loud that I need a team with me. Like if I want this to turn into what I envision it as, what I believe this could become, it's gonna take a little more than just me. While I like to believe I'm Superman, I can handle everything, I can do it all myself. I can, but at what level? Any of the great productions that we've all come to know and love have a team. Any from a Broadway play to any other podcasts that are like big podcasts, TV shows, anything, you name it. There's a team. There's not just one person that's like, hey, I'm gonna write, produce, star in. It's a lot for one person to handle, and it kind of takes away from my strong suits because I'm wearing hats that are not necessarily the hats I care to wear. So I had to make a decision. Like, are you gonna keep doing everything on your own? Or are you gonna at least put it out there in the universe that, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, and Z, So I guess when I did that, I actually got I got better responses than I expected. I actually got my guy here right now. My dude Adonis in the building. He will help me out with some of the sound things because I had a issue with the sound. Like it's more so on the audio version than the YouTube. It's just little things like I'm sort of a perfectionist, so when I hear little things, I want to fix them. Because in my head, a top tier production has top tier sound. Regardless of what you got to work with, you're supposed to make things as best as you could possibly make them. So I went look outside of myself for somebody who may be able to help me or at least point me in the right direction. So I appreciate you for being here. Good shit. I had people reach out to me that like, oh yeah, I want to come be a guest. I've had people reach out like, hey, I want to be a co-host. Put me on, So I appreciate everybody that saw my message and responded to it. There's a little more love on there than I expected, so that always feels good. So I appreciate that. And hell, even if it wasn't love, even if it was for your own personal reasons, like, oh, I want to do some shit. I don't care why you reached out. I'm just glad you did. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all. So that's something that y'all can look forward to. Eventually, there's going to be a co-host here. That's kind of my mission for the moment. I definitely like that. I perform better, I think, with contrast. I need some contrast. It's difficult to see both sides of the coin when it's only one side showing, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. I got a few guests that I booked so far that we actually like. Okay, I gave them dates that we're gonna get in and record. That's a loud ass truck, but yeah. So that's just something good to look forward to, man. I'm excited about it. I think it'll be a good product for everybody and to the people that's been supporting from day one. I appreciate y'all, and we're gonna bring you something even better though. So be looking out for that. Now let's get into some fun shit. Let's talk about my man Kyrie Irving one time, man. Clap. I would clap it up for him, but I ain't about to clap all in this microphone. So for those who not familiar with, I mean, I'm sure you're familiar unless you were living under a rock, but Kyrie, he didn't get vaccinated, so he's been going through this thing all season where first he couldn't play at all, then he could only play in away games because New York had a vaccine mandate. Well, now here we are, springtime. New York is lifting the vaccine mandate, and now Kyrie Irving will be able to play home games right in time for playoff time. And I've been hearing mixed things, and everything makes sense to me. Where it's like, oh, well, they letting it live for playoff time, but then outside of that, on a broader look, it's like baseball season is coming. They ain't really lifting it for Kyrie. There's baseball players who didn't want to get vaccinated, and what they call baseball, that's America's favorite pastime. So it would, if you're really looking at it from that perspective, it's like they don't want to miss out on that baseball money. You know, baseball got the highest paid players in the sports leagues. Basketball is catching up though, but baseball has been breaking it in, and basketball is good old American sport. You know, America's favorite pastime, and I think the timing is just real coincidental that we're going to lift it in time for baseball. We don't really care about what Kyrie Irving and those basketball dudes doing. And basketball is more of a urban hip-hop-y sport. If you're looking at just the majority of the people that play it or involved in it. Like you can even look at the video games. You look at, NBA 2K. It's nothing but hip-hop music on that, you know? But then you play an MLB game, it's more pop music. So you see that the demographics that are targeted in these sports. So it was just an interesting argument that I felt like I should kind of shine some light on. Either way, I'll give you my stance on it. Either way, I appreciate what Kyrie Irving did. And I don't appreciate it because I'm like, oh, the vax is evil, or that's not why I appreciate it. I appreciate it because it was a man in a position to show people to stand on what they believe in. If you don't believe in that, you don't have to do that. It wasn't something that should have been mandatory, in my opinion. I don't think something like that should have been mandatory. Something that's going inside of me should be something that I either agree to or don't agree to, but it shouldn't affect my livelihood because I don't agree with it. Because if the thing does what it says it's supposed to do, if you get it, you should be all right, whether I get it or not. So I don't see the problem. And if you're not, then does this even work? But to each his own. I'm glad that he stuck to his guns, and now it's working out in his favor. You know, and he might have just preserved himself for the playoffs. So now he might go torch some teams all playoffs because he had some games off during the year. I don't know. But it was an interesting story to watch unfold. I was definitely in his corner on it just because it's freedom, and we say America's the land of the free, but what's free about somebody forcing you to do something to your body? That don't sound real free to me. But who am I, right? Who am I? So outside of that, I had some fun while I was gone. So while I wasn't seeing y'all, I think I left off probably the last episode I did. I might have told y'all about I planned on taking a trip. Well, I did take a trip. I flew out to Las Vegas. I had a bunch of firsts for myself. That was my first time getting on an airplane. My first time going out to visit my brother. That was my first time taking a solo trip out of state. So it was just full of firsts. My first time seeing like a weed store that anybody could just walk in and buy weed. You don't need a card or nothing. Like we got the card thing here in Ohio. And I was just like, what? My mind was blown. Like I remember getting arrested for selling weed, like and they're like just selling this shit at a store. That's just crazy to me. But another first I did while I was out there in Vegas, I tried my hand at stand-up comedy. I think I did pretty good, and judging by the crowd, they think I did pretty good too. So that was definitely a fun experience. That's something that I would definitely want to do again. It's also something that I think like our city, my city in particular, Cleveland, Ohio, I think that's something we're missing. Like that's something we don't have like a big poppin' comedy scene. Like what comedians are in Cleveland? Like who came out of Cleveland like other than like Steve Harvey? What comedians we got? New York, we get a bunch of comedians. LA, it's a bunch of comedy shit going on there. What we got here, like we don't have like no comedy curation or nothing. So that's something that in the coming future I would like to probably try to put my hand in. Where it's like even if it's not me being the next big comic, I would like to provide a platform for the next big comic, regardless of who it is. I just think comedy has always been one of my favorite things. I love to laugh. Laughing makes life easier to digest. And life can be very stressful, very hard. A little laughter goes a long way, man. Like I used to get in trouble for laughing at shit. Like laughing at shit that wasn't funny. But that's how I process things. I might process things with a chuckle. So I got in trouble in court with that. Like the judge is like reading off my sentence and shit, and I'm like, like it wasn't funny, but that's my thing. He's like, "What's so funny, Mr. Holmes?" I'm like, nothing. But that's just something that comedy is near to my heart. It's dear to me, and that's what made me want to try it. I've always thought about trying it, but I was just like, "Cool, I'm gonna take this trip." And since I don't even drink no more, I knew I wasn't gonna have my hangover experience out in Vegas. So I'm like, what could I do that I'm in Vegas and make this real memorable outside of just visiting my brother? Because I love my brother. That's gonna always be cool to just go see him. But I was thinking, what could I do? So I reached out to my brother, like, hey, if you find me somewhere that I could do some stand up, I'll try it. So he ends up shooting me a link to a place called Wise Guys Comedy Club. Shout out to Wise Guys. It was cool, man. I shot them an email. They told me I landed a spot. So, it was only a 3-minute set. But I tell you what, when you're standing on stage trying to make people laugh, 3 minutes is a pretty long time. Like, I watched a guy bomb his ass off. It was terrible. And it seemed like he was up there for 30 minutes. He was only up there for 3 minutes, but that was a long 3 minutes. I know it had to feel like an eternity for him because it was long for me watching. I'm like, damn, I was embarrassed for the guy.
Tell us a joke.
Tell us the joke that dude said?
Tell us one of your jokes.
Just one. The joke. Let's see. What did I say? So by the way, I got up there. I freestyled. I didn't have like.
Oh, okay.
I didn't have written material. I just kind of went off the vibe. I think I threw some shit out. Like, okay, so on the way to the place, right? Me and my brother, we rode the bus there. You know, so we was out there pretty much living hood fabulous out there for real. So we rode the bus there. On the bus, it was excuse me if I'm wrong. I'm guessing he was doing the transgender thing. There was like a guy with a dress on. He was dressed like a girl with like a dude face. He didn't like. I mean, probably could have shaved or something, soften the look up a little bit. So I kind of I used that as a premise for the joke to just come in. There was the first comic that went up was a guy in dress, buff though, buff motherfucker. So I kind of went up there. I'm like, man, I was gonna tell y'all about blah 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 about the guy on the bus, but I don't want to say the wrong thing and offend nobody, cause that motherfucker right there above, and I ain't come out here to get my ass whooped by no nigga in a dress. You know, that kind of just broke the ice. People laughing, that broke the ice. I ended up going on to say something along the lines of, I don't think y'all would have claimed the one on the bus. I think it's like a tax bracket you got to be in to be transgender, because you got to put it together the right way. You can't just do it like that. Yeah, I had that was a nice little icebreaker. Then I went on to talk about some other shit. I talked about double standards with men and women, as far like in relationships and shit like that. Matter of fact, I actually got the video. When we done with this, I'll show it to you. I might even go ahead and slap it on the YouTube. I know that the quality of the sound quality of it ain't exactly the best, because my brother was holding the camera out in the crowd, so you got a lot of laughing going on. But that's how you know it's a good set, right? That's how you know it's a good set, the people laughing. So, but yeah, I definitely had fun with that. And I would like to put myself in a position where I got a longer set where I could actually like focus on delivery as opposed to just trying to get everything out in this small amount of time. Everything that's on my mind. Like, I wish I could be up there in a conversation setting like this, where I could just sit there and talk and pop my shit. Another thing I like about comedy, see, like here, it's certain things I don't say. And for fear of maybe someone taking it the wrong way. Or even just the channels I gotta do this on, like YouTube or something. Somebody can report my shit if I say the wrong thing. Where I'm not trying to be hateful, but if they perceive it a certain way, it's a problem. So one thing I appreciate about comedy, fuck what everybody talking about. I could get up on that stage and say whatever the fuck I want. And you can't cancel the stage. You know what I'm saying? Now, you can never listen to me again, but in that moment, you can't. Who you gonna report it to? And it's not like I get up there and I talk hateful about nobody, because I don't hate nobody. I just having fun. I don't get up there and like try to bash transgender people or nothing like that. I wasn't bad. I don't do racist material, because I don't hate nobody for what they do or what color they are. So I just go up there. I just went up there and had fun. And I would like to do that again, but I want more time. 3 minutes was good, but I want at least like 10. Maybe 10 minutes. 10 minutes to see if I'm as funny as I think I am. I think 10 minutes would be a good challenge. That's plenty of time to fuck some shit up or to be a complete fuck up. 10 minutes a long time to but I had fun with that. What else we got to get to? I'm gonna go ahead and jump to making music great again. So that if you ain't hip, and for those that aren't hip, when I do the make music great again segue, or not segue, segment, it's pretty much where I shout out a great musician, rather it be old, new. Usually, if I have a guest, I'll let them shout out something. This week, I gotta go with Lucky Day, man. I know y'all probably, the people that's been listening, in the past, y'all have heard me speak on Lucky Day. That's my guy. He dropped a new album earlier in March. And when I hear a new album, I like to run through it a couple times instead of just running and raving about it and giving a review the first day or the first time I listen to it. I know what I generally think after the first listen, but I like to listen a couple times and like, cause then you really get a grasp on it so that you can really be fair with your view on it. My view on that, so the album is called Candy Drip. He actually has a single called Candy Drip that is probably not my favorite song on the project, you know, but it's a decent song. It grew on me. The first time I heard it, didn't care much for it, which was weird because I pretty much love everything Lucky Day puts out. I didn't think it was a bad song, it just wasn't for me. And now I feel a little better about the song, but he got a song on there where he sampled music Soul Child. My mind's going half crazy. He got that beat in it. Song called Over. Crack. I think my favorite one on there is probably Used to Be Yours. All in all, the project is dope. It's a dope project. If you into R&B, like some smooth shit, listen to it, man. Listen to it a couple times. You gonna like it. It's something on there for everybody. Even got a feature from Lil Durk on there, so he definitely played with different sounds. It was played with different sounds, but stayed true to his sound. So it's definitely a dope project. I'm sold. I think he's the man. So anything he drops from here on out, I'm going to see about. I'm going to see about. He actually coming to Cleveland. Yeah, I think this month. I think April or May. I might have to go check that out. But yeah, if y'all get a chance, go check out that Lucky Day Candy Drip. Dope project. Dope project. Dope artist. You might want to check out some of his old work if you're not hip. He got an album called Painted. That's what I got hip to him at. Dope.
I'll rock with him.
Yeah, it's dope. Dope shit. Table for Two. Bunch of features from like female artists. I think that was kind of the theme of that song. I mean that project. Dope project. The dude, he ain't missing. He ain't missed yet with me. So I'm a fan. I'm definitely looking forward to that. Honorable mention, and really it's not even an honorable mention. It's only a single. That's why I'm gonna call it an honorable mention. Today, actually last night, Pusha T dropped a song with Jay-Z. So if you're not into the R&B thing like I am, some good rap for you. Pusha T, Jay-Z, I think it's called Neck and Wrist. It's a dope cut. Jay-Z doing his Jay-Z thing. Jay-Z has mastered that whole not making yourself too accessible thing. So when he does drop, everybody's like, oh my God, Jay-Z. And I'm one of those everybody's. I was like, oh my God, Jay-Z. It was dope. Dope track. So whatever you into, you can check out either one of those. It's definitely some good music out. It's been a lot of music dropping. I actually been up on a lot of music so far this year. I'm sorry y'all ain't get to I wasn't recording or nothing, so I wasn't telling y'all about it, but we got all year to get to it. I'm sure I'll be mentioning stuff here and there. What else am I forgetting? Oh, In case you niggas didn't tell me happy birthday, I take late happy birthdays. My birthday was 2 weeks ago. Another year, you know. I'm 32 now. I know I probably look about 18. No, let me quit. But I had fun. I did another first there. I went go-kart racing. Never went go-kart racing before. It's always something I wanted to do as a kid. Didn't do it. So, of course, I grabbed my son, his cousin, my lady friend, and we went go-kart racing. I crashed the fuck out of a go-kart, broke it, popped my little visor off my little helmet. The guy at the place was mad at me, like, I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm laughing and shit, like, give me another one. I paid for this. I'm about to ride. It was a good time, man. I had fun. If you in the Cleveland area or somewhere close by, there's a place called Boss Pro Karts. I went there. Things get up, man. They get up. They're a little faster than some of the go-karts I've seen in other places. So if you want to go fast, go there. Shit, I think that's about everything I had to say for my I guess my comeback episode. So yeah, I ain't even gonna hold y'all too much longer. Thanks for tuning in. Be on the lookout for what's to come. I'm definitely gonna get me co-hosts in here. The main focus this time around, I'm gonna say this season, because it kind of feels like a new season since I took that time off. I might just start doing that in all honesty, get to the end of the year and then just ride the rest of the winter out and come back in the spring. I think I might do that because that felt good and I feel refreshed. I'm excited to get back here. By the end of the year, I wasn't as excited as I was when I started doing the show. So maybe that break was needed and necessary. So, well, we'll play it by ear. I ain't got to worry about what I'm going to do at the end of the year. We at the beginning of this one. So, yeah, just be on the lookout. The hunt for the America's Best Co-Host is on. We want to see. I'm excited to see what I end up with. I got, out of the people who reached out to me, there is one that I believe the contrast of me and that individual will probably work the best. And that's just on a glance. So we'll see, maybe I'll get them in first, maybe not. We're going to play it by ear, man. I don't really have a game plan for it. If you know me, you know I love winging shit. Spontaneous is my thing, man. I like that organic feel. That whole scripted, planned out. Everything in life don't need to be planned to the T. Some shit is better when you just let it happen. And I think this is one of those. But with that, let y'all go ahead and get back to y'all lives. Thanks for tuning in to the Crosscast. Your man Cleveland. Cleveland Homes if you're professional. Showtime if you're nasty. Catch y'all next time. Peace.